know about somatic education is the best learning does not take place in somebody's class on a weekend or in Maui. It takes place in our own environments with people who we love or we invite on our own time. And in those environments, we need resources. And so one of the things that I did is to put the best people I knew on video so people could model it. But it's not learning to watch that. There's no learning in watching it. If there were learning, the whole United States would be amazing acrobatic sex people because of all the porn watched. No, people just watch passively. But what this is it's modeling online that people can watch and then turn it off and learn something with their partner or with themselves or with friends. And then they can turn it on again and go, oh, here's a nuance, notice that. Turn it off. Or DVDs. The amazing thing today is all the teachers I know, the best teachers in the world, have all made DVDs. When they make DVDs, they try to distill their work and put it into a very focused way as best as possible. And if it's edited well, I mean, I've spent 2 years on some DVDs, and they're amazing. So people can come and look at them and go, ah, let's try this, Reid. Oh, this is really fun. Let's, you know what, next time, look at notice this. We missed this. We can try this. So the New School of Erotic Touch is a resource for people who are learning in their own body. So self-directed learning is way more profound than having someone else guide your learning. And we go to a weekend. Often, what a lot of sex classes are is, we pay for a sexual experience. It's really a wonderful group experience. Wow, Lori Grace really throws a good party there. Or Joe Krammer really had, wow, an amazing experience. Or this experience or that experience. It's learning if we carry this, really carry this in our body. And there's some integration and change. And there are people, and I'd say less than 10%, who can go into these experiences and grab them and move on. But the majority, and some people aren't going for learning. I'm going for the experience. I want to go to Maui.
Yeah.
I want to go. And so there's a dishonesty there. A lot of people are not sex teachers. They're providers of sexual experiences for groups.
So what would you say is the difference between the two then? I mean, because even in Cuddle Party, the design of Cuddle Party is the first hour is a conversation about skill sets around, or permission sets for folks to learn how to make themselves feel safe. And when you can start to create your own boundaries and communicate them, and you can give your own self permission, but sometimes it's just easier to have somebody say, try this, do this. In this event, only this and this can happen. So like I'm kind of standing in for you as being the permission giver. Then, once you get those skill sets and you can practice with them, and that's a way of making yourself feel safe, I can then invite you into a safe space I'm creating inside of this larger container, which is for me is a quick formula to build intimacy and to try to anchor that experience for people so that they can then take those rules, which, in Cuddle Party, the Cuddle Party rules, and then recreate those experiences out in the default world. And then, the event, we have a couple a month or whenever so that people can come back and re-anchor the experiences. But I mean, it's disguised as a social event. So people come for the fun, but I'm sitting there trying to get them to just learn that they can change their mind, that you can say no and not feel guilty. So for me, it's kind of a little bit of both. It's edutainment in a way, disguised as social programming. But I get what you're saying. I don't even know if I have a question, but I get what you're saying. Where some people are just kind of, I'm going to create this deep, meaningful experience for you, and then 10% of those people will be able to replicate it someplace else other than Maui. But for you as an educator, does that mean that you design a completely different experience?
First of all, you've created an amazing amazing workshop where people learn. I understand what cuddle parties are. I've almost got involved in one, but I escaped. I was at Excerpt, and all of a sudden, what's happening here? And I quick got out before it started. Oh,
Run, Joseph, run!
I did. But I believe there's all kinds of education. We have all sat through, God, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and some of us, the older you get, the stiller you were in those grade school years, the better student you were. You just sat there. It's a little bit better now. And then high school, God, and then college. It's amazing how much we're talked at.
Mm-hmm.
There is a real lack of trust, I would hope, in what we call education. Today it's even worse. I live in Oakland. I'm embarrassed that I'm not in the street with a machine gun because of what we're doing to the children in those schools. I pay taxes, but it's the worst school district in the world. There's nobody in my neighborhood that has kids between 5 years old and 18. They move somewhere else or rent somewhere else so that their kids can go to school somewhere else. So there's a crisis. So I started this program called Sexological Bodywork. You can ask me about it, but about the third time I did this, it's at the Institute for Advanced Study of Human Sexuality. It's a professional program, and it's the first day of class, and people have come from all over, and I've accepted people who are really, I would say, amazing transformers and sexual teachers and all this. And I'm welcoming people, and we're starting our education. And this woman says, excuse me, there's an elephant in the room that I would like to speak to. And I'm sure we all see the elephant. And she stands up and says, all this bullshit about teaching sex. We have to say that, for the state of California and all this, and to pay our money. But we know we're here not for education. People can't teach people sex. We're here, and I looked at her. I said, what are we here for then? And she says, well, I'm not sure, but it's not education. She paid $3,500, traveled for another $1,000 from another city to come here for this training, and she didn't believe in education. There are, I would guess, half of people that I run into, if they're honest, have little faith in really education. She was speaking her heart. And I said, I actually believe in education. And I hope that we can, actually, education, by the way, isn't teaching. I don't believe in teaching. I believe in people learning. There's too many teachers. I'm going to teach. Well, we need people who are learning. That's the result, not teachers.
So it's more of a midwife in a certain way? Or
I like that. An usher. I think a provider of resources, a provider of a space. So here we all come together. I create an environment where you can learn. And whether it's a first grade Montessori